Hi, welcome to Adina Talks Money. Today I'm doing a different type of audio piece, and it's relating to the title. Like you can see, we were never disposable. 300,000 black women didn't just lose jobs, we were erased. So this is relating to the most recent layoffs of over 300,000 black women. I wrote an article about this on my Medium page. I'll leave a link for that in the description. The recent layoffs confirm what many of us already know: excellence doesn't shield us. I don't normally talk about this type of topic on this particular page, but I really feel like it's important for me to say something as a black woman. Over 300,000 black women have exited the US labour force between February and June 2025. Numbers like that aren't just statistics, they are stories. They're dreams, ambitions and sacrifices of women who have given their all only to be pushed out when companies decided to be expendable. You know, I know the feeling because straight out of college, I stepped into corporate public affairs. On paper, I had the receipts, the degrees, 3 years of in-house experience, the work ethic of someone who was fortunate from now to be there. But in the office, I was treated like an outcast. I'm not saying it is the same story for every single black woman, but this is what happened to me. People mistook me for the coffee girl. I was invisible when I did my job well and criticised when I spoke up. That was the day I realised no degree, no resume, and no amount of playing the game would protect me from being erased. So I left. And in my early 20s, I turned my back on corporate life and built my own business from the ground up. I'm not going to sit here and say it's been easy because it's been very difficult. And most recently, it's been even harder. The thing about building your own business is that you really have to have your eye on the ball and your finger to the pulse of your industry and your niche. Otherwise, you can find yourself in a situation where you're left behind. And that's happened to a lot of people that are building digital businesses. AI has come in to really change and shake things up. And if you're not ready to adapt to the AI revolution, I would say, you're gonna find yourself left behind. But there is an advantage, actually, in being someone who has expertise in this AI revolution, this AI era, because if you are someone who is a professional and have expertise, you have an advantage over people, who are just using AI to demonstrate that expertise, if you understand what I mean. And it's quite clear that there are a lot of people that are just using AI and they're not actually really understanding what they're doing. But if you are someone who has that expertise and you're a black woman and you have that expertise, you can actually leverage that and use it to your advantage. The system wasn't built for us. The recent layoffs confirm what many of us already know: excellence doesn't shield us. Black women are still the first ones cut, the last ones promoted, and the least supported when companies restructure. And in April alone, in 2025, 106,000 black women lost their jobs, the largest loss for any group that month. At the same time, DEI programs were being slashed, remote-friendly jobs disappeared, and automation crept into industries where we historically have been underrepresented anyway. So we're not just losing jobs, we're losing access to healthcare, financial security, wealth-building opportunities, and let's be honest, the dignity that comes with being seen and valued. But here's the truth: we've always built from scratch. Black women have always been resourceful. When the door shuts, we build our own house. And while I'm not saying every black woman should become an entrepreneur, because truthfully it's not for everybody, who are more past the financial freedom than the corporate ladder will ever show you. I'm not going to sit here and say that entrepreneurship has been a bed of roses, because it hasn't. I'm going to give you examples, a couple of examples of where entrepreneurship has been completely gut-wrenching for me. I remember, I left the UK just almost 10 years ago now, and I moved to Ghana. I don't live in Ghana anymore. And I went back to the UK for a few months. In that time, I had a really big client, and that client was paying a really large sum of money on a weekly basis. And that particular client, I would say, was providing such a large portion of my income. At that time, as a solopreneur, I didn't have a team or anything. I was literally a solopreneur at that time. And they, out of the blue, they pulled the contract. And so a huge chunk of my income just went down the drain, and it was draining and disheartening and upsetting and stressful. I dusted myself up and picked myself back up again and said, right, let's start again. But that's happened to me several times, even with lots of clients. I've had clients, big clients, pull the plug, and I had to, push through and start again. I've had situations where I've had thousands of dollars held by the bank, held by PayPal, held by Stripe. I'm even currently going through a situation right now as well where things are really tough for me because I've got a huge sum of money just tied up in PayPal, another huge sum of money tied up in my bank account. So it's a lot. So entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's not for the weak. I really would recommend having some kind of retainer contract where you're going to get paid on a monthly or weekly basis, and then you have your business on the side. I really don't recommend sort of pulling the rug out of under yourself and just kind of focusing on entrepreneurship and quitting your job and not having anything to back you up. It's just a mistake. Anyway, you can go down the road of freelancing, whether it's writing, design, consulting, or project management. Freelancing gives you autonomy and direct ownership over your work. But even still, with freelancing, it's stressful if you don't get a client that is going to provide you with enough income, because you find yourself on a constant sort of hamster wheel trying to find more clients. So you want to find a high-ticket client or a couple of high-ticket clients that can sustain you, and then, you can do other things on the side. Remote tasks. Remote tasks is a way for you to earn a bit of extra money. I wouldn't say remote tasks are going to give you a full-time income unless you're working tooth and nail non-stop. But these remote tasks can give you an extra $2,000 a month or an extra $3,000 a month that can help you, to supplement your other income. So with remote tasks, you've got things like AI testing, virtual assistants, content creation, caption writing. These are paid opportunities that don't require you to be chained to an office. You can do these from anywhere in the world. And you can do it from anywhere, from a coffee shop or whatever it is. And I've got opportunities like this specifically for black women, remote tasks for black women. I'm going to have a link in the description for that, so you can go and check that out. And it's a club that you can join where you can get access to these tasks, and you can also co-work. And there's a bunch of different things that you're going to get from this particular offer. Creativity. Utilize your creativity and leverage that. We are some of the most talented, creative, innovative women on the planet. Art, content, digital products, these are not hobbies, they're income streams waiting to be activated. There's a lot of courses online, so many courses, and this can be quite overwhelming and draining actually to see all these things. But if you're someone who has worked in a specific field and you have expertise, you can actually monetize that expertise. If you're someone who's worked in accounts, you're an accountant, you're a finance person, you've got a lot of expertise in that area, you can monetize that by creating a digital product. I'm not going to go too deep into that in this piece, but you can do that. Building a business, if entrepreneurship is your lane, start small and grow. One digital product, one service offer, one collaboration at a time, you can actually start to actually make money from your business. But it's going to take time. It's not overnight. The beauty of working in corporate and having experience working with like high ticket clients and stuff like that is that it gives you a bit of a heads up over people that have never done that and they've just gone into entrepreneurship completely cold without having that type of experience. But when you have experience in corporate, it helps you to build a certain character to actually go into entrepreneurship. So let's see how that goes if you're interested in that, doing that. The key is options here, because when we have options, we have power. I'm going to give you, this is a call to my sisters here. Don't just survive, thrive. If you've recently been laid off, I know it feels like the rug has been rolled or pulled from under you, but this is not the end. This can be the beginning of something new and fresh. I've created an offer specifically for black women who are ready to step into new income streams outside of corporate. It's about building passive income, tapping into remote work opportunities, and reclaiming your creativity as a tool for freedom. We can't wait for corporations to value us. We have to value ourselves enough to create our own safety net, our own streams, and our own futures. Because here's the truth. We are not disposable. We are not optional. We are the backbone. And when black women build, we don't just build for ourselves, we build for generations to come. So if you're ready to start building your own income streams, explore my passive income and remote work opportunities designed specifically for black women. This is our time to rise. I've got a passive income for black women opportunity in the description, so you can go and check that one out. I also have a remote work club specifically for black women in the description as well. You can go and check these out too. My passive income for black women opportunity, a lot of people have said they found it to be too expensive. I believe that if you really want to invest in yourself and you've come from corporate and you have a bit of extra money, you really do need to consider investing in yourself and not thinking that things are too expensive. Because if you really want to build something for yourself, you are going to have to invest in it, whether you like it or not. That's just the reality of it. So I am going to give you a discount code for the passive income for black women opportunities, so you can get 30% off of the overall cost. The discount code is going to be in the description, so you can get your 30% off for signing up for passive income for black women. The remote work club is very low cost, so you don't need a discount code for that. So I'm going to leave a link to that in the description as well. And take care. Stay strong.